What if I told you that one of the biggest modern trends right now is actually doing less? That sounds strange because we live in the most connected and convenient time in human history. You would think people would want more speed, more access, and more digital ease. But instead, more and more people are being pulled towards something that feels slower, quieter, and more real. People call this analog life. Now, that phrase can sound a little misleading because analog life is not really about rejecting technology. It is not about throwing your phone away, moving into the woods, or pretending the internet is evil. What it really points to is something deeper. It is about attention, presence, and the growing feeling that modern life is always connected, but not always fully lived. At its core, analog life means choosing more physical, offline, real world experiences in a world that constantly pushes you toward digital ones. That is the heart of it, and it's not a total lifestyle overhaul. It is simply the decision to make room for experiences that feel less filtered through screens, notifications, algorithms, and constant distraction. And the reason this idea is catching on is actually pretty simple. Digital life, for all of its convenience, comes with a cost, and more people are starting to feel that cost very clearly. Think about what a normal day looks like now. Most people wake up and check their phone almost immediately. Messages, email, headlines, reminders, videos, social media, all of it starts pouring in before the day has even properly begun. Then the rest of the day continues in the same pattern, moving from one screen to another for work, communication, entertainment, shopping, and information. By the end of it, your life can start to feel fragmented. Your attention gets broken into tiny pieces. You're always busy but not always present. That is where the appeal of analog life starts to make sense. It offers something digital life often takes away, which is the feeling of being fully here, in one moment, doing one thing. And strangely enough, even though that sounds simpler, it can feel richer. Not because it is more efficient, but because it is more absorbing. It asks more of your attention, but in return, it gives your mind a break from being pulled in 10 directions at once. And that may sound backwards, but it becomes easier to understand when you look at how digital life is actually designed. The same device that helps you do everything also puts everything right next to everything else. Your work sits next to your texts. Your texts sit next to social media. And all of it exists beside an endless stream of alerts, updates, and recommendations that are specifically built to keep you engaged longer than you meant to be. That changes daily life in ways we do not always notice. Moments that used to have space in them no longer do. Even the smallest pause gets filled automatically. And when every spare second gets occupied, people begin to lose something they did not realize mattered so much: mental space. That space to think, reflect, and to be bored long enough for your own thoughts to finally show up. And that is part of what analog life gives back. It gives back a little more space, a few more limits, and those limits can feel surprisingly freeing. Now, some people hear all of this and assume analog life is just nostalgia, and yes, nostalgia can be part of it. But that does not fully explain why the idea resonates with so many people, including younger people who did not even grow up with many of the so-called analog tools being celebrated. The deeper reason is that analog life feels more intentional. Digital life is built around speed, convenience, and constant access, and those things are useful. But useful is not always the same as satisfying. That is the tension. Analog life appeals to people because it offers a different kind of experience, one that feels more focused, more grounded, and more memorable. It slows things down just enough for the experience to actually register. And I think that is the real hunger underneath this whole trend. People are not just craving old objects or old technology, they are craving experiences that feel like they count. In that sense, analog life is really a reaction to the mental atmosphere of digital life. It is a reaction to constant stimulation, notification overload, doom scrolling, and the feeling that everything is optimized, tracked, monetized, and competing for your attention. People are mentally tired. Tired of taking in too much information. Tired of feeling like every quiet moment has to be filled. That is why analog life feels refreshing, because underneath it is a more personal question. How do you want your life to feel while you're actually living it? Do you want every part of it to feel optimized, fast, and constantly stimulating? Or do you want at least some part of it to feel quieter, slower, and more grounded? That question matters because one of the strangest things about modern life is that we have more tools than ever to save time. And yet many people feel like they have less of it. Maybe that is why analog life resonates so strongly right now. It reflects a question more people are quietly asking, which is whether more convenience is always the same thing as a better life. And maybe the answer is no. That does not mean convenience is bad. It obviously is not. It just means convenience may not be enough. Because a life can become easier without becoming fuller. It can become faster without becoming more meaningful. So in the end, analog life is not really about going backward. It is not anti-technology, and it is not about pretending the digital world is evil. It is simply the decision to make room for more focused, physical, offline experiences in a world that is constantly trying to pull your attention somewhere else. It is a way of saying that not every moment has to be optimized, not every second has to be filled, and not every experience has to pass through a screen first. And maybe that is what people are really searching for when they talk about analog life. Not older gadgets and not a fake return to the past, but a way of living that feels more direct, more grounded, and more human. Because in a world that is always trying to capture your attention, one of the most powerful things you can do is decide where that attention goes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.